Yeah, so here we go again. Been shopping, so here I am. Surprise. Today I've actually left my flat with the sole purpose of going shopping, which is what I've done. Haven't done anything else for which I've left my flat, I guess. Um, Yesterday I managed to wrap up, layout, number, and so on my thesis, my bachelor's thesis. So that's now in printing, or it should be printed, and the cold glue should be settling, and that's to be picked up tomorrow until 10 p.m. So I'll manage. It's a very generous time window. Tomorrow I plan on shooting. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. It's more of an experiment than actual shooting day, because I haven't tried the concept of Schlieren imaging before. But I reckon I will have to try. Today we've got two drinks of choice. One is tap water from my home turf. And I'm saying two because odds are I'll be done with the second before I am done with talking myself. So, talking with myself. The second would be house brand Edeka cold latte iced coffee for too much money. It's like 75 cents a pop, which is way too much, but oh well. Don't treat myself too much, so something, I guess. Today I did manage to cook for lunch, so that was quite pleasant, I guess. Did the beef fillet I bought a week ago. Well, feel like a week ago. I don't know how long it actually is. I ran out of milk 2 days ago. Had only one for yesterday night, because the night before yesterday night, the day before yesterday night, there we go. I actually had good night water instead of milk, just because I couldn't be fussed to go shopping. I'm still fairly set on food. I did buy a bit, but most of it's gonna last a long time, and not much that spoil. I mean, I did get another bread, sandwich bread, toast, as it is referred to in Germany. Those only toast once you toast it. Because my old one grew some mold again. I usually have half the packet, and by the time I get to want to have the second half of the packet, it's grown mouldy. I don't know what it is. If it's just the air in my flat, which I certainly hope it's not, or it's just cheap bread, I guess. Who knows? Yeah, but I had to bin that, so yeah. I did get 20 eggs, so I guess that's the most part for what I got food-wise. I got a couple of sweets, but not many. That's going to work out. It's much looking like the clothing I ordered on Sunday night will arrive tomorrow. DHL say so, and the seller say so. So perhaps the seller only get their information from DHL though, but I reckon they also got the years of experience of operating a business. So hope it do actually arrive tomorrow. I don't know. Don't know if I hope, because I won't be able to receive anything tomorrow, because I'll be busy shooting for, I guess, at least the first half of the day, if not the entire day. In the evening I still got to go pick up my thesis. I did have one issue with the thesis, with the finalisation of the documents and so on, and that is the wording for the affidavit, for the declaration of having written it yourself. One way to hand in original handwritten, but they also want a digital file. Now, with a digital file, I also offered this to them, and they said, oh, whichever one suits you, so I just signed it digitally. But one can sign it digitally, then it is not handwritten. Or one can handwritten sign it by hand and scan that, then it is not original. But you cannot have both in a digital form, because that's not how that works. Handwriting interfaces with reality, whereas digital files do not. In the end, I've just signed it digitally using Adobe. That's actually the one product from Adobe I will continue to use, even if I do not renew my license. Come October, I guess it is. I'll definitely keep using Acrobat, just because that's a solid program, I guess. There is alternatives, but Acrobat do a good job, and I mean they invented the format, so the file format, so it makes sense for them to have a good tool for it, you know. We are in the usual spots, though today we didn't have as much choice as to where along the road we'd park. Halt, not parking. Stretching the rules, bending the rules, you know. Due to there being several lorries parked right in front of us, being a big crane with local plates from around the area, but exempt from tax apparently because the plate's green. The letters on it aren't black, they're green, so that means they don't pay taxes. Because it is machinery, which to be fair with a crane it is. Yeah, so that's something. With the shops, I did get myself a couple of sweet drinks, primarily to go Film Club Sunday, just because in the shops they're about 75% the price of at Film Club, and I mean I sell them at Film Club, but none of the profits go to Film Club, so you know, they all go to the Space Film Club happening. Fuck, actually no, we aren't meeting this Sunday with Film Club because there's a hiatus. Now I know what was bugging me about that. Well, anyways, now I got some cola on top, you know, Cola Zero, on top of what I needed, I guess, because apparently we are not meeting. I only just recalled. The rest of the week's going to be rather busy for me. Tomorrow I got my shooting day. I'll call it my first shooting day because, I don't know, odds are I'm going to shoot a couple of more days for thesis because I don't really like CGI. Doing CGI, that is, because it's not fun sitting in front of the computer or having your computer work at home and you waiting for it to do its work, which is what I'm doing now actually. The computer's currently rendering a smoke cloud expanding. I may very well use this as an asset for my final thesis, but for now it's just me messing around getting to know Blender again, Blender 3D. Before I haven't used it in the best part of a year. You know, done a little render overnight. That worked out quite well. Upload on the IG. Apparently their videos are called Reels. I felt like a boomer when my Gen X, maybe boomer, I'm not sure if about the cut-off, mum pointed out to me that they're called Reels. I felt like the boomer in that relation, I guess. Bit odd, but oh well, I'm not all behind on social media. Well, I'm not all up to date. I am rather behind on social media and so on, so I guess I didn't know those were called Reels. I saw a feature when I was uploading it to add audio, and because I don't bother doing audio myself, I did actually do a bit of Justice First Track, whatever the name of the track is, just because I managed to get it to seamlessly loop together with the seamlessly looping animation, which have pseudo caustics in it, the animation, which is the main thing I was trying for with that, material wise. So not real caustics, but look close enough to reality, to the point where people would not be able to tell. Then again, I like colours, so I mess so much with the colours, people probably wouldn't even notice unless they very closely looked at it, which they will not do on a platform like Instagram. I may try uploading it on YouTube as a short, if that's a thing, I don't know. YouTube's been pushing shorts even toward me and so on. This format here, I don't believe would work very well without context. For if you take what I say without context, a lot of the times it is not sensible to have said. So that's why I ain't done shorts for this, and I'm not into social media, I guess. But I might try and upload these animations as shorts on YouTube. Then Friday I got a hand in my thesis. Well, deadline's by Monday, so I'll do Friday. The party taking them when you hand them in is currently making an effort to be in-house a lot of the time, and I've pre-announced myself coming, so I highly suspect I won't have to stick around for too long. I'll send the mail as I walk in the door there, so I'll be able to say, you have a mail. Please confirm its receipt via email, and here is the physical hard copy of the thesis. Take a selfie with me and it. just because I do my due diligence, I guess. It's a funny way of thinking of it, but the cover your ass policy worked in my favour a lot, surprising amount of time, I guess. Then there's other cases where theoretically it would work in your favour, but it's not worth following up on, which is, I guess, kind of a bummer. Or you try and follow up on it and it's not successful. Which is cases where I believe the system is just reliant on too many aspects which do not function as the system would like it. Which means in those cases I am willing to get to the same destination by my own hand, I guess. Don't smoke, smoking kills, by the way. And thank you very much for sticking around watching this, me talking to myself. On Friday night, I'm taking a friend and their significant other, I believe, shopping, because on Saturday noonish or afternoon, early afternoon to evening, that friend is partying for their birthday. Looking forward to that. There's only very few people invited, so it's not too many people, so that's a good criterion for me coming, you know. Guess it's an odd thing, but yeah. Actually looking forward to it. They plan on doing a Barbie, and they asked if I'd had experience doing Barbies with small mobile ones. My response was yes and no, because I can do Barbies, but I want a proper grill. And I mean, I got a proper grill, but not in this land. In a different land in this country, which is the German concept of a state. It's just not translated according to European use of English, I guess. European Union's use of English. There we go. I guess that's how that works, you know. But I reckon we'll get it to work and we'll do some crazy golf before, and that's going to be a fun one. I will not be consuming alcohol, but so will many others not, so I won't be left out, I guess. It's just, you know, I like driving in my car. It's not quite like a Jaguar, but I don't like substances. I have a zero tolerance, zero influence tolerance, I guess. Which, oddly enough, in this country is neither culturally nor legally the norm. Well, legally the norm it is. Legally the limit is up to 1.1 per mil, I believe it is. Though 0.5 is where you should be able to drive without any repercussions unless you have an accident. And 0.3 is where no one will complain. Per mil breath alcohol, I believe it is. But I ain't fussed for that because I don't drink and drive. I do smoke and drive, but I do not smoke. This is illustrative only because this is film grass, but I do not smoke this kind and drive. I do not smoke this kind full stop because I smoke this here, not illustrative, which is hemp, which is grass, cannabis, but without THC. So in German legal lingo, it's not cannabis, it's hemp. Commonly, colloquially, people refer to the stuff with THC as both. I've been differentiating it because I've been smoking this stuff every now and then, I guess. Just because it's a good substitute to tobacco and it's a bit chill, and why not, you know? To the point where I've got quite some still lying around. I'm sure I'll have to smoke that eventually. Don't know if I'll reorder once I run out, but we'll find out, you know. As we're on the topic, my 2 THC containing plants not only greatly or very well survived my migration, I also cropped their tops when I returned because they were starting to get very tall and not very wide. They're now going into the width a bit, so that's something I'm looking forward to just for funsies, because I'm not looking to smoke the stuff anyways. I'm just doing it as a garden and exercising my rights, because I feel I have to. And I guess that's what I'm doing, you know. But in that case, I might as well get the legal requirement to dry and some to freeze, because to my understanding the frozen stuff is not dried, so it is not legally cannabis. It's just a marijuana plant that's still not dried. I don't know for sure, but it's fun finding out, you know. Fuck around and find out. I'm pretty sure in this land no one give a shit. Further down south in this country, in different lander, they might very well give a shit, because there is really rather dodgy still, even though it's federally legalized. And the lender should not have the power, to my understanding, legally, to legalize something that is federally legal. Oh well, you know. They're talking about Bavaria, by the way. There appears to be others which have problems with devil's lettuce. And I don't understand why. Because haven't killed a person so far. Yeah, okay. A lot of people evade taxes with substances like that, especially as we still have no legal market. Oh well, you know, once we have a legal market, you'll be able to get taxes that way as well. The government, the people, will all be able to get taxes that way, you know. That's quite nice. More money for who knows what. Then again, the grey market will remain, as usually does, because it's going to be cheaper that way. For both parties. Because the selling party do not have to pay taxes themselves on the income in the first place. And collect taxes for the government on the produce. Whereas the buying party will not have to pay the taxes collected for the government, and therefore the overall price is likely to remain lower, considering production costs are the same for grey and legal stuff. I think this is Economics 101. Apparently some people in the government haven't taken it, I don't know. But, you know, the longer they have a grey market, the longer it'll be interesting for people to keep it going after it is unnecessary. I mean, we are supposed to have social clubs these days. We still do not really, because the realisation of them haven't been figured out. I'm not really fussed about it, because I got my 2 plants and I don't smoke it. But, you know, it's just interesting to keep caught up on, I guess. I kind of don't want to be doing with my thesis film of runtime 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I kind of don't want to be doing what I done for my last project, Working Title Smoke and Mirrors, or formerly known as Working Title Smoke and Mirrors. Now that it's done as 20.24 or 20.24, I am not prescribing how it is to be pronounced, which is a lot of computer work. I kind of don't want to do it with my thesis film, but I may have to, which is not something I'd be looking forward to. Then again, I still got quite a while in time. I mean, I got more than 2 weeks at this time before it's due, and the presentation for the thesis, but that's a 1-day job, the presentation. Might want to get that out of the way sometime rather soon, preferably before the end of next week, I guess. So I can just go out with the camera and capture stuff. I mean, I'm privileged enough to have a camera in the first place. At this time, I'm not worried for audio. I may not do any at all for my thesis. I'm neglecting it in the case I'm studying, in the cases. I don't know, it's one case really. It's one case with 5 sources, but I am looking at them as a grand whole, because why not, you know? I needed the filler pages. Apparently I needed the filler pages, but it was not correct to justify the time I spent. Oh well. Sucks to be me. Oh, on that, I believe my driving may have very well been impacted by that for a couple of days. because my mind was just all over, but I am more than confident. My driving is back at its status quo these days. For I haven't done anything anyone seemed to deem dodgy, certainly not myself, but not even anything anyone else would deem dodgy, so that's pleasant to hear, I guess, you know. Yeah, solid one, you know. Been driving really rather chill. The one bit of road I do like driving the speed limit on, a lot of other people drive 5 below the speed limit because they think they're 5 above the speed limit, but their car inbuilt tachometer tolerances make it so they drive slower, in which case I commonly leave them in the dust, which always feel a bit off, but it's perfectly legal. And I mean, if they're twiddling away on their phones at the traffic lights, you know, it's not my fault they aren't taking off when the light's green. For I am taking off when the light is green because I feel I have the need to legally, because I am not supposed to hinder others for no good reason. And if I'm stood at a traffic light and it is not red or turning red, I have no good reason to be stood there, which means in my eyes that is illegal. Not to mention the operating a phone while operating heavy machinery. Then again, the plot don't seem to give a shit about that, so for all practical purposes I believe that to be legal. Not that I'd do it. I have standards to myself, I don't know. It's not fair comparing myself to others, for I'm built different. Ha! What I just done there, starting a sentence with for, I've noticed I've been doing a lot, and apparently I also done it in my thesis, because I got a friend whose English I very much so respect. Their capability of within the English language are the best I know. For they're a Native American speaker, and they are a scholar of the English language and a professional, so you know, pretty good cards there. Had a fun evening with them the other day. Brought them their cash for proofreading. They went over it with me, I think partially to make sure I got what they wanted to say, and partially because they hadn't reached a time yet and kind of felt off about it. I'm not sure about the second bit. But we had a fun time socialising anyways, just with a focused subject matter on the side, while we were talking, you know. Yeah. The stuff is hella sweet. Had a pizza after I was at that friend's. They went to get a pizza, but they were going to eat it with another friend's at another friend's, which was fine by me because, you know, it was about time for me to get home anyway. It was past 10 in the PM, which means the speed limits were lower. Most of the place I'd driven after then. I don't mind because I'm not in a hurry. But I got a nice pizza, quadra formaggio. Believe I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm not Italian. 4 cheese pizza for $10.90. Paid 11. Was a really solid pizza, though I was surprised that the cheese for some of it was grated cheese, which I was surprised to see at a restaurant, I guess it was. Then again, for $10.90 I can't complain for takeout, you know. On the subject of pizza, I got another 4 cheese pizza from the freezer department in the shops I went to, my regular shops, to have for dinner tonight. So I'll be having warm food twice today. Oh, and back on the subject of the food, the lunch I done earlier, that steak, I managed to do it just right, medium done. So a bit of pink remaining, a lot of juice remaining. I was real happy with that, man. Mwah. Another thing is, with perhaps not being able to receive my package tomorrow in person, I've asked neighbours whose number I recently acquired whether they'd be up to take it for me. I believe I have yet to receive a response. If I do not receive one by tomorrow, I probably won't change the address because it may not be delivered tomorrow if I change it. If they do end up agreeing to it, I reckon I'll give them some chestnuts, because I still got some in the freezer, and they're the kind of shit you can't really buy. For they're already peeled. I peeled them myself. I collected them myself. Well, with a broom and a rake, collected them myself on the back patio, my dad's place, a while ago. But they were frozen all the way, so they should still be good. And those neighbours are a family of, I believe, 5, so I believe they frequently cook at home, and I reckon they'd appreciate them and value the chestnuts more than I would. And it would actually mean something, because it's come from me. It's not something I just spent a couple of bucks on and got, It's about gifting with value, I guess. I mean, I like chestnuts, don't get me wrong, but I believe I still have 2 lots, and even if I don't, I've had chestnuts frequently enough, and I'll be able to have them more in future. Fresh ones, so, might as well give those to the neighbours. Just as a kind of thank you gift, I guess. That is assuming they do respond with, we're up to take it. Hell, if they are up to take it, and I see tomorrow the courier's out, I may still change it, because they might be able to see it on their personal assistance device. Yeah. Personal device assistant, there we go, PDA. Scanner thing, whatever they use as DHL. I'm looking forward to that package, because not only will it contain trousers and a brand name belt of what I've had for no brand name belt for quite a while. And the reason I got the brand name of the belt instead of the no brand I've been having, or I've had, is this is now the 3rd no name Cobra style belt, because the previous 2 have both broken because of my gut, so I figured I might as well spend a bit of money and get the proper one, and not have to buy the cheap ones again in the future once this one break. And I'm also getting my trial replacement uniform top. For you may have noticed, I have 2 colours of t-shirts I wear in these here. I've worn a sweater a couple of times, but I only have a couple of free sweaters in rotation. T-shirts are either platinum, as this is, or anthracite, as it would have been last week. And I am looking to perhaps switch that to black all the time for funsies, and because that's available, or a combination of black and khaki. Not t-shirts, but button-up shirts. Workshop shirts, though. So, not too flimsy. Don't got to worry about getting dirt on them, but look neat, Then again, that costs an arm and a leg. So I'm just getting one for now. First off, to see the size, and second off, to see if I like it or not. Odds are I'll be wearing it in one of the future sessions, talking to myself. Meh. But I would quite like that, because these t-shirts, with doing them in the laundry, I mean, I only got grayscale clothing besides my couple of sweaters. They still kind of get tinted over time, washed out, and I guess I could also use them for rags. And some of them are quite holy, not in the sense of spiritual ruling holy, but in the way of with holes, perforated, which is obviously not optimal for shirts, so I believe a lot of those are starting to get to their end of life. And in the end of the day, if I replace them with the same again or something else, economically is not going to make too big a difference. It's going to be a big difference economically anyways, the aspect of replacing them. What I replace them with is secondary in nature. I feel like I'm crazy cheating the system at this time, because I'm here talking to myself, which I consider working on myself, in the way of growing my being mentally, and the computer's working at the same time. It's like we can tell the machines to do work and they'll work for us, That's like really nice. I got most of the stuff I'll need tomorrow prepped already. Managed to build a nice holder for my paraboloid mirror. It's from a telescope I bought from a classmate a long time ago. More than half a decade now. Wow, time fly. I've only used the telescope twice, but the mirror's coming in handy, and I wouldn't want to buy one of those straightforward because it probably costs an arm and a leg. It's only a 3 or 4 inch mirror, which means what I depict motif-wise, not Foxtrot, but Victor Echo, will be limited to 3 to 4 inches in size with airflow and so on, whatever I end up depicting with Schlieren imaging. But that's not too big a concern for me. I've bought some pressurized air. May use that for some. May use my Zippo, and just now in the shops for £2.50, I bought some burning paste, which I believe is for catering containers to keep warm. In the end of the day, it's paraffin with some gelatinous mixture to make it slow burning. It's basically napalm. And I'll just burn that as well, perhaps, because that gives good airflow, and it should be good to visualize, and it's all within the right kind of scope of size. So that's going to be something. For this mount for the mirror, I was originally just going to do an a T bracket upside down, with the mirror on the base of the T, I guess. Though, as I was at the hardware shop looking for some more carriage bolts, because I hadn't had enough, surprise, I actually found this amazing male end of a garden door hinge, which happens to be 16mm on the pin side, which is close enough to 5/8 that every 5/8 receptacle will take it pretty well. So I've ended up modifying it to the point where I just have a plate with the mirror and a 5/8 spigot here. Only difference is it's not really a 5/8 spigot, it's a 16mm male end of a hinge. Which means it's way more massive than a spigot, but it's fine by me. I don't got to hold it, That's what tripods are for. I'm really looking forward to shooting tomorrow. It's really an experimental shoot because I don't know what I'll be getting yet, but I'll bring everything to keep myself busy for most of the day, assuming anything work. Even if that did not work, I may just capture some flames or so against the black backdrop because I got that available as well. We'll see. Or against a green backdrop because I'll have a green screen. The subletter of my former place of internship, who might ask to use their studio, have a green screen permanently set up. And I could use it. Realistically, I won't care for it, hopefully. Assuming the Schlieren imaging worked. Fingers crossed, down gedrückt, you never know. So that's something I'm hoping to get done. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching this, by the way. It means the world to me. I had actually for a while considered not doing this, and I am still doing it, and I will be doing it. It's just I'm not going to be doing the talking to myself for the talking to myself's sake. For the sake of having a video, I'll actually try and limit it so it's once or twice a week, because it was starting to get to the point where I was doing it every day, and I couldn't justify the amount of time invested. After grocery shopping, I'll most certainly keep doing it, just because why not, Then again, in future, there may very well be a point at which I decide it is worth unlisting the videos or making them private. This does not mean you should download them, please do not. Feel free to, though, as long as you don't redistribute them, which would be copyright infringement. Just because I do say quite a lot of things here, because it's just me talking, a podcast format. Is lower standards of accountability due to unfiltered speaking, I guess, which is why people get away with saying a lot more in podcasts than they would in proper produced videos, or shows even. That could get me cancelled in future. Oh well, Good news is at this time I'm not really fussed about that. My future employer would most certainly not give a shit. That's something, And at the end of the day, I I don't think one should limit one's speech because of potential repercussions. Assuming one state one's opinions as opinions, I don't see a problem with that, you know. In this country, one can be sued for insulting someone. That is a legal thing. We do not have free speech here in that sense. You can say whatever you want. You can say, in my opinion, they're cunt, and it's perfectly fine because you added the, in my opinion, not legal advice, not a lawyer. But that's something I've been thinking, because I did say I'm not sure about doing audio for my thesis film, but if I were to do something, I might very well adapt Rowan Atkinson's speech on free speech, just because that's a real solid one. I've had it in the back of my mind for quite a while, in a drawer somewhere back there, you know, just to do something with. I mean, I got quite a few poems and other things to do things with. I have a whole tab group of to act on in Safari on the phone here and on my iPad, which is just things I may want to do something with one day. Interestingly enough, that is only on the tab group, not even tab group, it's just a YouTube playlist, private one, on my watching, consuming channel, of inspiration. Which is just things that I put on my shrine if they were physical, I guess. Which they are not, so they're just in a playlist. Inspiration playlists, you know. Because it's amazing what humankind can do. I mean, one of them's just a guy on a farm getting ready to move a 40-foot container, a high top. They managed to do it by themselves using mechanical advantage. I mean, for example, drilling into the bottom of steel, you don't really want to be holding the drill upside down and trying to drill upward. So they just done a small hinge with a stick and another stick and pushed down on it to push the drill up, you know. Just small things like that. I mean, that's hella smart. Might not be educated, but you don't need education to be smart. Same as education does not guarantee you will be smart. There is certainly educated people out there who are not smart. I guess it's just the way the world works. I believe smart is to some degree learnable, but to some prerequisites are just not learnable, I guess. Don't mean to insult anyone, it's just how it is, I guess. Oof. Please don't sue me for insulting if you feel insulted by me saying this. Ha ha. Ha. It would be funny, but it's not really funny because in this country it's possible, but because I haven't named anyone, I don't think they'd have a legal basis to sue me, so I guess I'm fine. It's just always things to keep in the back of one's mind. You can't just call anyone an arsehole, because they might sue you. Then again, I'm not giving anyone reasons to sue me. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching me talk to myself. It means the world to me. Hope you aren't giving people reasons to sue you. I'll see you around. Stay safe. Cheerio.